Welcome to another presentation in the online summit. This is light body activations and DNA upgrades for your ascension journey. And we are here with a beautiful ascension teacher. She's very magical and brilliant. Raquel Spencer is someone who has been teaching on this topic for many years, decades actually, and she is going to share with us her insight on inner coherence. Hi, Raquel. Thank you so much for being with us.
You're so welcome, and thank you for having me. Hello, everyone. I'm glad you're all here.
We are interested in hearing about your insight on light body and how it affects our DNA and what's happening here in this process. Can you give us that overview?
Sure. The overview could take a year, but just to really kind of understand that the light body is it's a technical process of rebuilding access into, well, first say higher states of consciousness. But that's really a very limited understanding. It is actually building the light architecture that connects us back into, yes, our higher selves, yes, our soul essences, but it's also connecting us back into ultimately the organic universe, which is where the concept, the actual structure, the what's the word I want to use? The foundation for unity consciousness actually exists. So that's it in a nutshell. And it's a very systematic building back of your natural organic light structures, extended energy bodies, out into what many would refer as the quantum, right? And it is an essential part of the ascension. There are so many different elements to the ascension process, but the light body building and the light architecture. So it goes beyond just this light body, but the light body is an individualized light architecture that plugs into collective, which plugs into larger fields, which prepares the physical body to make the shifts and transitions, both on the mental, emotional, the physical, the biochemical, the bioelectrical levels of our experience. Ooh, how was that?
We love that. That really helps to explain it on a whole giant level and how it is quantum and how it's a higher part of us. And it's so comforting to know that it's connecting us into unity consciousness even more. Yet it's an individual experience, but it's unity consciousness. So what can we do to build this light body, to rebuild the structure? And when you say rebuild, did we lose that when we incarnated? Is that what happens?
Okay, so we lost it a long time ago. That the capacity to rebuild the light body structures that I'm talking about were lost when we went through the fall. So hundreds of thousands of years ago. So our body has not had access or capability to even begin this process until this lifetime, and not even until enough of the old binary holographic paradigm light structure started to come apart. So this is something that is relatively new, right? For being accessible while we're here on the planet. We're talking just the last 15, 20 years that the old grid systems and distortions began to dissolve, come apart, whatever word you want to use, to even allow the very, very, very beginning of even recognizing from this level of consciousness, because we all came in and got wiped, because that's what happens when you incarnate on this dense of a planet and structure, to even recognize that there was a light body and an access and back into, and that we were in the distorted and blah, 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 right? So this has been what is called the ascension process, the ascension cycle, which for many, began back in 1987, the harmonic convergence. Then a whole nother slew happened around 2013 after the upset of the 2012, because so many of the light workers had been, led to believe that poof, everything was going to be poof, and it was just going to poof, right? And so we lost a whole slew of light workers that just were fed up, right? And then in 2013, we started seeing some new people emerge into what's this consciousness stuff. And then in 2020, we hit another big opening for so many more as we started through the COVID, right? Which again, I think is still just not even the pinpoint of the needle of what's coming.
Ooh.
So the process, so let me just, so
Yeah.
the process of the light body and rebuilding the structures, the light architecture, connecting you into back into the organic, which still isn't fully accessible. We're doing stair step, so that the body doesn't blow out once we actually can start truly tapping into that organic at a much bigger level, right? So the process has been dormant. The process hasn't even existed through this civilization, let alone since really the fall of the Lyra Stargate. And when, of course, we fell into this dimension down into Earth, when Tara, tomato, sorry, Terra actually was exploded and fell. So we're talking, what we're asking of the body and the technology that is required to rebuild the light body is really, what's the word I want to use? It's very specific, and it's not really widely available yet. Does that make sense? And so the processes that we've been going through for the last decade and a half, again, is putting, the foundation in place in the body, moving through and taking advantage of what cosmically, okay, coming from our great central sun, our sun in the solar system, the light waves, the gamma waves, the different infusions of light that are coming in to assist the body and the spiritual body, which is really another way to say the light body, to begin the process of unlocking and being able to open back into those higher light technologies. So there's a lot that needs to happen, and it's never, it's never just one thing. you have to approach the ascension holistically. It's not one thing. It's not just, oh, I need to meditate, or, oh, I need to change my beliefs, or, oh, it's not one thing. It's all of it. All of it is part of the ascension process. And the ascension process is so multifaceted, but the light body, reconstruction, activation, turning it back on correctly is an integral. All of it is necessary, but without reactivating the organic light structures, you cannot make the shift in consciousness. So it is a foundational piece of this ascension process. And we've been hearing about light body for so many years. And again, we're just really still at the beginning stages. And I know people don't want to hear that, but it always is the hardest to put the foundation in and get it set correctly. Then everything else can start coming in at a more rapid pace, right? So the foundation pieces are always, the hardest to get in line. And those foundational pieces are what drive the changes, first of all, in the physical body and the mental and the emotional, right? They drive it, they're integral parts of it, and they can't come into the next level until those other areas are actually shifted. Does that make sense? So you can't just go build your light body if your ego is still playing havoc. You can't just go build out all the light body unless your emotional intelligence has shifted to a high enough level. They go hand in hand. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Absolutely. And so that really is the next most important part of the journey, is transcending the ego, or making friends with the ego.
It's not even making friends. Let me restate, because what is your definition of ego? There's so many misconceptions of ego, or different definitions or ways to think about it, right? So for example, what's your definition of ego?
Well, I would say it's the individual. It's the individual that wants to be in control of who I meet, who I talk with. It wants to know why things are happening or what's happening. And so when that's not aligned, the ego can come in and cause a lot of worry. And we believe so much in the ego.
Yeah.
We believe so much in the worry that we lose our sense of trust and faith.
Beautiful. Because the ego, people, first of all, often they think egotistical, someone that's full of themselves, right? That's another definition that gets people trapped with that wording. And for me, the ego, you said it very, very well. And the ego is tied into the lower mind, many refer to as the reptilian mind, that is controlling the neural pathways, the brain, the nervous system, your glands, your organs. That mechanism is tied into this old paradigm. And it is absolutely orchestrated to keep status quo. The last thing the ego wants is to change or lose control of what they think the reality is. And so as we go through this process, we know you've been on this journey, the beliefs are getting shattered. And that is getting ready to go onto a whole nother level in the outer reality. We've been working, right, to unlock the ego from running our lives, telling us how we're not good enough, or thinking we're better, or everything in between, right? The ego wants to keep you operating in the same way. But where we're headed does not exist in the reality we've been living in. You cannot be in both, right? The ego, to really move beyond this level of consciousness, has to deconstruct. And deconstruct in a way that it no longer is the program that is running not only your thoughts and your emotions and your mental, but your biology.
That's huge.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I think that's a piece that a lot of people really hadn't quite considered yet.
Right.
Right.
Okay. That is, tell us about your own journey, Raquel. What has that been like, deconstructing your ego? I sense that you are well advanced on this. I can sense that you're partnering in light with your ego.
Well,
Mhm.
and I have, I set up this journey to hopefully be able to do just that, right? My focus in this lifetime has been very singular. It has been my mission, right? The ascension. I didn't go through a lot of the normal experience. I won't say not normal experiences, but I didn't, relationships as far as marriage or children, or right. So I set it up so that I could put significant focus in being able to do this. And my structures, the way I've lived my life, and ask anybody who's known me for a couple of decades, I follow my guidance, and I follow it pretty impeccably. And I jump when I hear direction, or do this, or I don't go back and say, oh, I can't do this, and how am I supposed? I just do it. I do that leap of faith. And so my ability to be slightly ahead, hopefully, to help lead the way, was, of course, by design, right? And a lot of people, it's like, well, what's your life been? Isn't this the 3D experience? This lifetime for me really wasn't about that. It was about being on the forefront for the ascension, because we knew it was coming. So the experience has been one of really not paying attention to the outer world as much as most, right? I'm kind of embarrassed. People have asked me over my life, well, who's the president? Who's the vice president? Sometimes I couldn't even tell you what's going on in the world around me. I couldn't tell you, because it was never my focus. My focus has always been go deeper into the high heart, which is the access point into higher consciousness. And I still have so much of my ego to unravel, as all of us do here, because we're not even at the stages that we can access that next yet. So, it's like you moving into unity consciousness. And what a lot of people, bless their sweet souls, have thought the ascension is getting busted wide open right again, right? New levels, new understandings, what the complex nature of what we're going through. But when you really start to move beyond the ego, one of the first signs is that it's less of a me experience and much more of a we. How do I serve? How can I help? What am I here that's really on mission and purpose versus I want more money. How do I make more money? Right? Or how do I get that new house, new car, lover, the material things. Now, most of us in the spiritual world are not really tied to the material things. We've moved beyond that, right? But there's still a massive shift of really understanding for most of us, we came in that are in this field, that are here to usher in this new paradigm and to unravel from the old to the new. Our focus really has been or needs to move into even more of a purpose of mission versus human experience. Because when you're on mission, when you really are aligned, the beauty of the human experience shows up naturally. Does that make sense? So there's a massive shift in the way you approach life, quite frankly, beyond the identified me, which is where the ego wants to keep you. Oh my gosh, the ego. But where am I going to get the money? How are we going to do this? Where am I? All of those things that the ego wants to keep us focused on so that we don't go into that higher state. But once you do, your priorities almost completely rearrange to be one of how can I serve and be a part of the team that is here to take apart the old and build the new, and what it takes on a personal level to even be able to do that. Ooh.
So beautiful. Really, we are absorbing that information. And I know that we're reflecting in our lives to see where we each are on our journey. And we're getting there. And again, you are a beautiful leader in showing us how to do it with fortitude, courage, and strength, and actually confidence. So you said a lot of beautiful things there. And what I find fascinating is in the past 2 years, we could say 3, we all know what that 2020 turn took us for.
Yeah.
But that's a big question that people have. What's my purpose? How do I step more into my mission? And there could be some fogginess or unclarity on how each person does that, but that's okay, right? So
it is okay. And one of the things this is one that always comes up. And I really want to kind of break this open a little bit, right? So many, because we are so driven, right? The deep inner knowing is so strong. We want to be fully on mission. And many equate purpose and mission to the way I pay my bills. Many equate purpose and mission to a vocation or way of making a living. And that has really gotten some people into a lot of difficulty and a lot of hardship, because your mission and your purpose doesn't always, and most often, doesn't show up as a way to make money. Now, I am the most, I still struggle with realizing I have a business. I mean, one of the things the ego gets in the way with me is, but I don't, I mean, the things that are required to be able to be in service for me is a business. And I still, 15 years later, I still can't wrap my head around, I actually need a business to be able to do what I'm doing effectively, right? It still trips me up. I would have never thought, I never equated the two. First came my mission, and then I realized, oh, I needed to put some things in place because people found what I was bringing to the table valuable, right? And wanted to participate. And it took me several years to step into that. Most people want to make money doing something in the spiritual world, right? Because they don't want to be in the 3D anymore because it's so hard, right? Because the old paradigm and where they at and what they know is going on is so bifurcated that they just want the hell out. How can I become a coach? How can I make $1 million? How can I mean, you know, the whole thing that spiritual awareness equates to being a millionaire. I don't know where the hell that information got stuck into the paradigm, right? Living on mission is living from the heart. And if that is aligned with having to put together a business to make it happen, great. But that's not really true for a lot of people. A lot of the souls out there, you're on mission in wherever you are. The mission is not about, let me see what I can, you know, being a coach or a massage therapist or a naturopath or a, you know, 9 times out of 10, you've been aligned to a mission already, wherever you were. The mission is embodiment of the higher frequencies to shift the world around you. And shift the world around you. That's not really what I'm trying to say. Be a space and holding a frequency that positively affects all that come into contact with you so that they can be triggered in their own higher self. If their higher self wants to put them in your field, you're there for them, and then they can start to awaken. Your mission and your purpose is to ascend and to be on the forefront of that and to do the hard inner work, to step beyond the ego, and to then, as we now starting to step into, everybody's starting to feel it even more. I mean, the collapsing of the old paradigm, we've been preparing as part of the mission is to figure out, or is to build the foundation so that as all of this falls apart, you can still thrive because you're beyond those constructs and you've already built the foundation of living from the high heart and starting to unravel that ego at such a level you can trust the guidance and not get pulled back into the chaos. Now, if that purpose and mission then leads you to helping others in a way that is financially beneficial, fab, right? Fantastic. But don't be confused that those two things are the same thing.
Yes, that is really important.
And it's I've had so many clients, I need to leave my husband and I can't stand it. They're uncomfortable, right?
Yes.
They're uncomfortable because this is an uncomfortable space. I want to go be, I want to help people, and then jump before they really knew what was going on and the foundation wasn't there and they spiraled out, and that's not what your higher self wants for you. You know what I'm saying? So the mission and the purpose is first and foremost. And believe you me, I've been a reluctant entrepreneur my whole life, right? But that was the way in which the universe found to support me. I know others who, they married rich or they inherited. I didn't set up that way. Sometimes I wish I had, but it would have been easier. But then I don't know that I would have even put myself out for being on the forefront, because that takes a lot of chutzpah in a lot of cases. If you guys know what that means, a lot of guts. And again, thank you for saying that, courage to speak a truth that most really don't want to hear.
Yes, all right. And so I think a key point to what you said there as well is that as we are on mission and on purpose, and that's very clear within ourselves, that we then just begin doing what we love. There's something about the passion, right?
Absolutely.
There's magic that happens when we're doing that then we're inspired on ways to receive funds or revenue from people for the exchange of
yes. Beautifully said. Beautifully said.
It goes hand in hand. I mean, I've witnessed it in my own life, and we try to teach. It's almost like it's backwards.
Yes.
Absolutely
yes.
backwards than what we. And so when
and again, that's the ego.
That's the ego. So when we set out, and this is probably where you correct some of your clients as well, is that we're not doing it for the money. The money will follow. As yourself, you had some structures that you then put in place once you started following your heart and the inner guidance. The money will follow. It'll follow with inspiration, right? If we love dolphins, we can, and if we're close to the ocean, we can start with dolphin boat trips. And even if we're not close to the ocean, there's healing that can be done with the dolphins. So this is important to illustrate for everyone, that it just begins with that passion. And I think what you're talking about on inner coherence, right?
Right. Well, and there's so much, again, the light body is absolutely key, but it can't happen unless all the other pieces are happening too. Does that make sense? It's not like, oh, I'm going to go light up my light body. I'm going to go activate my DNA. Let's just go do it. That would be great if it did, but that's not the way it works. It is a step-by-step, frequency by frequency, collective trigger date by collective trigger date process, right? And as you go through it, those multiple layers have to be in sync. You'll a natural part of the light body will come online, or you'll get assistance. That's part of the work that I do to help get yourself out of your own way so you can bring that light body technology online. And then you got to go deal with, oh, how do I deal with the bifurcation? Because now my ego is trying to unravel, and I'm having, family members or experiences or jobs or relationships leave. And how do I then stabilize myself and live from the heart and not allow that to affect me, while my body is trying to go from a carbon base to a crystalline base, and it's causing me to want to sleep 20 out of the 24 hours because that's what the body needs to upgrade. Oh, and then I go through a purging, and then it's this, and you have to address all of it. And then you hit another another stage of the light. Oh, whole nother round of all those pieces playing out, and then being able to step in and truly live at that new frequency, right? You can get all the downloads you want. If you haven't done the work that allows you to actually embody that energy, it's like, okay, let's just keep pouring, and everything just flows over. You can't integrate if you've still got pieces of the ego that had to be unraveled before that next level of light body can actually anchor. Does that make sense? So it's never just one thing. It never, ever just one thing. We are holistic. There are multiple levels to all of this. And so, the inner coherence is being able to walk through all of those different layers and continue to up level, continue to upshift, continue to embody, and then activate that within walking in your daily life experience. How do I do all that and still go to work at the insurance company that I know is so out of integrity, and it just makes my skin crawl when I hear that they are, not approving this, that, or the other in the old system, and your heart is just like, I can't take this anymore. And yet, if you're in an insurance job, I can guarantee you part of your mission and purpose is to hold that frequency from within that system to assist the larger break apart of those morphogenic fields by being at work and holding that higher frequency, or at the hospital, or the doctor's office, or the bank, or the oil company, or the everything in this reality is distorted. Shit, that's hard to hear. Everything in this reality is distorted. And so our mission is to be those light portals, to be those beings of light that are upgrading and holding those higher frequencies by sitting in the middle of the morphogenic field that is that distortion, and doing our part to help energetically, and in many cases, many of the light workers that are in their 40s, 50s, maybe even 60s, you're in position. You're in position of authority within those industries in a lot of situations, right? You're not the 20-year-old that's just coming in that everybody from the top down looks at and goes, oh, those new, what are they called now? They're not even millennials anymore, right? I don't know what they're called.
Gen Zers.
Okay, but you're in those positions a lot of times. Not always, but you're probably within the sphere. And you holding that frequency, even within the sphere, if the financial officer is on the same floor as you or one above, your fields are affecting that. Do you see how it's so much more? Being on mission is about embodying it and walking it and stepping in and continuing to let the ego go, unravel from the chaos of the old binary, which is designed, let me restate this. The old binary, which is starting to come apart, is amping up its magnetic pull to magnetize as many humans into the chaos as possible. It's not even what it was 2 months ago. The volume has been turned up. And so as you do the inner work, your ability to not get pulled into the chaos is strengthened. And you know, and there's no escaping it. It's not like, oh, I'm just gonna go be in I just go live in what are they called, ashram or something. I just want to go live on top of a mountain, or I just want to go be in a hammock on a beautiful beach and forget it all. It doesn't matter, we're in it. There's no escape, right? And so the mission is to be on the forefront. The mission is to be a step ahead in the evolution of being human versus perhaps the coworker 3 desks over, so that you can help lift them up, so that you can help to build the bridge.
This is so extremely helpful and timely. And that's what's so beautiful about all the information and the wisdom that you share, because it couldn't come at a better time. And I'm seeing even, I can feel all of the beautiful souls watching this in places that might not be conducive to where their ego, well, maybe they're fighting against the ego, but they don't want to be there. But this is really important, because if we hold that vibration, the energetic vibration, and it's not a cop-out and putting our head in the sand, but there's a level of allowance. As we are centered within ourselves, we can allow that out there, because we have a strength within ourselves to know that nothing can disturb these waters within us.
And that's the inner coherence. That is being able to walk that. And it's interesting. And again, another play on the ego, I think. Again, I think it's been reversed. So many of the self-help, I won't even say spiritual, self-help is about feeding the ego. Versus the true ascension. We are, and I've said this before on your show, the leadership and those that are building the pathway, which is your audience, right? This is not for the weak of heart. This is not the joy ride. And yet it can be. If you're out of the ego and you're actually aligned, the level of joy and playfulness that is coming, I can feel it, because of how much we've unlocked and how we're getting ready. As these massive constructs of false white light, those grids start to come down, as all of the old systems literally fall apart, while we're still feeling the massive push of the one world order and the transhuman, trying to take over transhuman, all of that, which is, it's going to intensify like you cannot believe as these continue to collapse, because that ego piece of that construct is trying to survive. But walking through this section, it takes real strength. And and when you actually do the work and you are embodying and you are aligned, it becomes so much easier than trying to get there through the old constructs and the old ego structures. So the joy is, it's there, and it's getting ready to burst onto the higher levels of the light body like never before. And yet we still have to build that bridge, and we are the bridge. we are the bridge. And we have to be able to keep that bridge going while all those rushing waters and tsunamis that are coming, and I'm not talking literal, although there may be a few of those, but I'm talking about the bifurcation and the pulling apart of the old reality, and how all of those that are operating from an ego standpoint are going to lose their shit, literally. Right? They're going to, it's not going to be an easy road for them. The regular people who haven't started on this journey, right? They're gonna lose it, and they're gonna lose it hard. And we have to be strong enough to not let that pull us in to that chaos.
Yes. And again, every person watching or listening to this is indeed a new earth leader in that sense. And that is the mission. It makes me want to cry in love of the truth of that. And so that's the purpose.
And I will put another level on this. I'm not saying that in the future, once we actually get to the point where we are building the new structures, that won't equate to a way in which you can make a livelihood. But the livelihood, the money, the abundance is not what you think it is now. The new reality, that construct doesn't exist. So in the same way, right? So I'm not saying that you're not going to be able to have absolute passion in doing what you love and being fully supported by the universe. That is coming for most of us. You're just like me, an impatient little cuss, because we are, that's the part of the ego that I still struggle with. I can feel it coming. I want it now. Hurry up, let's do it. And yet the outer reality and even the light structure isn't there yet. Oh, but I can feel it. And it's like, no, be present. You have to be present right now and hold that field. Because most of what everybody's feeling is two things: the uncomfortableness, because they know that the outer reality is not it, right? And also the knowing of what's coming, and they are a part of that. And that's where the passion piece is really going to take hold. Now, is that 5 years, 10 years out? Anybody tells you they know, they're full of shit, because there's no way of telling. And we're unlocking time anyways, right? But it is coming. And I think, Lauren, it's in mine and it's in your lifespan. This is not just for the 20 and teens. It's in our lifespan. I believe that with every fiber of my being. And that tells you how close we're getting. Because I'm not a spring chicken in linear time, old world constructs, right?
So beautiful.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
this is where the pedal hits the metal, right? This is where everything you've done so far, and your focus, your shift in really going, wow, I'm the bridge. Really, I'm the bridge. The bridge that has to stay stable while everything else comes apart. It's a we're going to get there together. And that's the only way we can do it. But it's always, broken record. It's always an inside job.
Beautiful. Your words have activated us already. They're an activation in itself, a transmission of light in itself. Yes, and I know that you do beautiful energy work on a regular basis for your clients and the people who you help on this planet, the leaders who you're building. And that is a beautiful opportunity for people to work with you. And I want you to share on a special offer that you've got for our episode today. The special offer is Inner Coherence. It is the Inner Coherence package. And this is a way that people can start to build this energetic foundation. Tell us about that.
Well, it's building upon, right? Because I'm sure everyone listening has done inner work, right? I'm sure of it, or they wouldn't even be drawn to you yet, right? But this is next level. It's an advanced series that really comes at all of these different pieces, right, to help bring you to your next level, wherever that is for you, because we're all in our own perfect divine timing. Let's put it that way, right? And so this package is filled with activations, and not just activations. There's a write-up every time to go to tell you what's transpiring in the quantum levels, in your light body levels, why we're doing it, right? Why am I bringing through this particular activation right now? And it really is, this particular series is not just a light body activation series, which I thought about doing as the special offer, but I felt this one was more necessary to just bring all the pieces, get that balanced more for people who are interested and desire to move to that next level. So the first week we talk about bifurcation, what it really is, and then I help you in energy, in activations, to actually start to, and this goes completely against what people think should be happening, help you separate out of the old binary. The old binary is not upgrading and coming with us. The old binary is getting absolutely taken apart and dissolving. Let me restate that. The old paradigm is not upgrading with us. The organic always has been. It's always been there. The hologram binary level we've been living in for thousands and hundreds of thousands of years was a designed experiment where a whole different construct was created that we incarnated into to experience separation and duality. And boy, did we do a fabulous job. But we're done. We're moving back into the organic. That structure is not going to evolve. We're literally taking it apart. And so you need to disconnect from that so that you can plug back into the organic that has always been there. Does that make sense?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Right. So that's the first week. The second one is where we're at a stage that it's time, we talk about the ascension. I could go on forever. I'm so sorry. There's so much I love sharing. But first and foremost about the ascension, the awakening, is the unity consciousness, but not like most people think. Unity consciousness at this first level is the absolute marriage, the ergogamic union of all of your male principal aspects and all of your male principal aspects, or female, sorry. And that's not just oh, I'm gonna from this lifetime. Okay, this is actually reclaiming and calling back all of the aspects of you that have played in this inverted hologram of separation and duality, all of them. Did you hear me? Thousands and thousands of aspects of you that have played out in all of these different bodysuits across this inverted hologram, to bring them back in wholeness, right? To bring that balance, the masculine principle, the feminine principle, the mother principle, the father principle. And then once you do that, we're then to bring in the inner child, which is really the triad. We're going to back to the tri-wave, the triad, mother, father, child. Not what we think of in this reality, but those are the words that we use. Okay. So we're preparing and helping you upshift a little bit more for that to get ready, right? Third one is, again, I mentioned it briefly. We're moving out of linear time. What the F does that mean, right? What are you talking about? The linear construct of time only exists in the old binary hologram. It doesn't exist in the organic, not in the way we conceive time. So I start to help your biology, your mental, and your emotional prepare just one more step in getting you ready to move beyond linear time. Take a breath. That's a big one. And then the fourth week really brings you into aligning with the quantum abundance. And I don't know why I use the word abundance, because it was there at the moment, because it has dance in it, right? It has dance in it, but it's really about prosperity. It's about being able to magnetize to you what you need in the now moment, not what your ego wants. Let's be very clear. Not what your ego wants. Oh, I want that big house on the da-da-da. No, it's about magnetizing exactly what you need to be fully on mission and being supported. Always having everything drop in, the right people, the right opportunity, the right this, the right that. It's this dance of being fully present and allowing yourself to be fully aligned so that you're not in your own way of actually receiving what the universe is trying to bring to you, which 9 times out of 10 doesn't look anything like your ego wants it to, but it's awesome. It's usually beyond what you could have even thought of or imagined, because the ego keeps you boxed in. And so this is the package. 4 weeks, there's multiple, I think I've got 3 activations every week. I've got journal things. I've got print or explanations, email explanations. This is what's happening during these activations, and this is why, right? And it really works on bringing the whole container, the whole aspect of you, to ready to move to that next rung, to that next step, right? And remember what I said in the very beginning, the light body and DNA activations, those are light body technologies that we are reconstructing to build our way back into the organic universe. And so this is a package that helps you move to that next rung, or next step, or next level, or next frequency. Lots of ways to talk about it. But that's the package.
Thank you. It is just listening to it. It resonates so deeply with us. It tells us the journey. It shows us the journey ahead. And it really is lovely. I think we're all ready for it. We're all waiting. And the assistance that you give as this beautiful facilitator is so helpful. You're a wonderful guide for all of this. So we really thank you. Thank you. Thank you for that. And I just want to say that's right here on this webpage. Please, everyone, check it out. I'm certain that you're already resonating with it. And Raquel has just such a beautiful way to bring those energies into us that your life will forever be transformed in an advanced way when you work with these activations. So, Raquel, I was saving this best part for last. Can we just take a few minutes and have you end with maybe some sound or having us close our eyes to leave us with some energies that we can carry with us to fortify ourselves on this journey?
I would love to. That'd be lovely. Okay, well, let's all drop into, up to, around to. I always say drop in. And I mean that because most of you are in your head, right? So bring your awareness to the part of your body that is where the thymus is, the high heart, the eighth chakra, as some people call it, right? This is the true access point into higher levels of consciousness. And I like to refer to it as your quantum computer, your quantum superhuman computer. This is where you access that level of connection, consciousness, information, wisdom. It's through the high heart. It's not through the head. The head will always play a part, and it will become more important once we literally get to activating the higher mind. It's not, we've started to prep, but it's nowhere close yet. But so until then, you really need to strengthen being able to truly live from this part of your anatomy. Okay. So bring your awareness into your high heart, close your eyes. Go ahead and take a beautiful, nice deep breath. All the way down into your abdomen, down past your belly button. And just allow your body to relax. Set your intention to receive. And I'm going to ask that you call forth the highest level of your own innate wisdom. That part of you, your own signature frequency, in the highest oscillations and frequencies of light, wisdom, and information. I want you to call that forth. And accessing that level of you, of your own spiritual intelligence and wisdom. We're going to ask your innate signature frequency of light from that highest level of information and wisdom to move through your high heart and to flood your entire body all the way down into the adamantine level and into your larger energetic fields. to set the stage for actually being able to come into alignment with these higher truths. And to absolutely amplify to the highest degree possible your true spiritual discernment. To be able to supersede your emotions and your mental chatter that is coming from the old egoic lower mind programming. To truly know at your soul's level, at the deepest part of your psyche, of your emotions and your mental constructs, of your current light body and energetic body and physical body. To break through the illusions of the old paradigm. Take another beautiful, nice, deep breath. And know that your ability to discern what is coming from the ego and the lower mind and the old beliefs and constructs and grid systems that have been designed to keep you locked in to this physical reality, and to be able to unravel those energies, those misqualified energies, those distorted constructs of consciousness. Take a deep breath. There's a vibration, a frequency that is moving through at the subatomic level, the adamantine particle level of your cellular biology. That is, for lack of a better way to describe it, shaking up that old foundation. The next level that is ready to release and unravel for you, so that the higher truths coming in from your high heart that is connected to the highest wisdom you can access at this time, to take hold at those levels, at the biology, the subatomic adamantine particle levels of this incredible divine bodysuit and vehicle for the ascension. Oh, there we go. And in this now moment, take a beautiful breath into your high heart and set your intention to receive the highest wisdoms that your biology and your emotional and mental constructs can receive to bring you into that higher resonance, into that higher knowing, into that higher truth of who you truly are as a quantum being of light, here on mission to ascend, to ascend all life on this planet, to ascend the planet, to ascend the solar system, to ascend the galaxy, to ascend the universe and the multiverse. Woo! That's how big of a job we are here, helping instigate the liberation of all life, the liberation of all sentient consciousness back into the organic, true Christos, Christalla, Sophia. There's so many different levels and names, but back into the true intelligence of source. Wow, there you go. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And if you can, put your hand on your high heart and just allow that connection. Your hand chakras are an extension of the high heart. And just allow that to fortify this deeper realization, this deeper connection, and to allow your body to flush, to release everything and anything that is possible for you in this now moment to sustain you moving forward with as much ease and grace as possible. One more beautiful, nice, deep breath. And if it feels aligned, to once again cement your desire to live fully on mission, on purpose, knowing in the depths of your souls the universe will support. It will bring abundance, the dance of beautiful, beautiful interplay. And installing the next level of confidence, strength, and wisdom for your unique individual path. Beautiful. Lots and lots and lots of things going on behind the scenes energetically with your emotional, mental, and spiritual energetic systems, along with the biology, the physical body as well. When you're ready, go ahead and open your eyes and just feel that love and support coming in.
Wow. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We are fortified. We are anchored and elevated to whole new heights in our high heart. Beautiful. Raquel Spencer, thank you for the beautiful wisdom and the light that you carry. And thank you for sharing with all of us today.
Thank you for the opportunity and for all you do to bring us all together.
And thank you, everyone, for holding this light. I know we can feel this, and it feels really good, and it's just the beginning. Thank you, Raquel. And thank you, everyone, for joining us. Namaste. This has been a presentation of New Earth One Network, your home for New Earth living. Access information, education, and videos on living from the heart in unity consciousness. Visit newearth1.com.